Let's speak more about the circumstances surrounding this particular horrific crash and bring in now Aluyolo Mbeki, who's with Equal Education and is the national organizer. Of course, this organization has been quite vocal about the conditions under which children are being ferried to school around the country. Aluyolo, thanks for your time and welcome to the SABC News Channel. Devastating, that year in, year out, organizations like yours sound the alarm about the potential dangers of not fixing some of the systemic issues within the scholar transport program around the country. And despite that, we're confronted with what's taken place yesterday.
Thank you so much. I think the first thing I'd like to say is on behalf of Equal Education, condolences to the families of the children that yesterday, and to also offer well wishes to the children that are still in hospitals. I think it's very sad that it takes events like this, tragic accident that happened yesterday, to amplify what we've been talking about for years, what we've been saying for years, that these regulations for scholar transport service providers need to be instated, they need to be enforced, and they need to be monitored so that the proper accountability tools can be used.
Understand, Aluyolo, where the gaps currently lie, especially for people who don't even know, for example, that there are some privately operated scholar transport programs and those that are run by the government.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I was just hoping that you'd help us better place where the gaps lie insofar as those regulations are concerned. Aluyolo, are you able to hear us? All right. It seems we're having a bit of a difficulty with our connection there to Equal Education's Aluyolo Mbeki, who is helping us get a better understanding of where some of the issues lie insofar as scholar transport is concerned. This particular organization, of course, has been vocal for years about some of the issues that need to be fixed within the system. And despite that, sadly, we're seeing a recurrence of a very similar tragedy involving scholar transport pupils. Aluyolo, I'm hoping you're able to hear us now.
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
All right. Perhaps I'll ask my question again. Please help us better place where the gaps lie insofar as the enforcement of these regulations are concerned.
So I think to maybe start off is that with these regulations put in place, if they are put in place and properly implemented, we are looking at a much safer scholar transport services that are being provided to these learners. And with the monitoring tools that we are asking that the government to put in place is to make sure that all of this, the service providers are regulated and they are in line with the regulations so that we can hold the correct people to account.
And who should be taking, I beg your pardon, who should be taking the first steps to finally get us there?
I think it's easy to say that we need the government to come to the table. We need to have the Department of Basic Education and the Department of Public Transport to come to the table and help us with this situation.
Yeah. I wonder whether there's a role that could be played by other stakeholders. The student governing bodies, for example, come to mind. We know that they too are able to, at the very least, push for certain policies in schools.
Yeah, I mean, very much. They are very much responsible to push for some policies to be put into place. But I also don't want us to shy away from the people that are actually responsible in implementing these regulations and these policies. So before we can go to the school governing bodies, we also need to be pushing with the government to implement.
Yeah. In the Northwest, the Human Rights Commission has come out with a very damning report that essentially pointed, I beg your pardon, to systemic failures and put the blame squarely on the provincial government for their lack of planning, implementation and oversight. It's very difficult in scenarios like this to hold someone accountable, but I imagine at some stage, very difficult questions would need to be asked around who actually dropped the ball, essentially creating an environment for crashes like this to actually take place?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's a very sad situation to find ourselves in, where it takes such tragedies to amplify what we have been saying for years. So I think at some point we need to have conversations about what needs to be done and who needs to actually do something about what we are facing and what we have been facing.
Aluyolo Mbeki, let me thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Aluyolo is Equal Education's National Organiser. Once again, thanks very much indeed.